In this video we will learn how to disassemble a 3D pattern for laser cutting. I know that I only use this model for disassemble and I already have a copy in my file, or I just saved it with the old version, so I can just say right mouse click, convert to editable poly to have a more light object. And the next thing I do is I just go into vertices. I select all vertices and I have 939 vertices. I go into weld function and I weld all my vertices, which is actually quite important, because otherwise probably my result in terms of disassemble is not such great. So before I had more than 900 vertex points and now I have 628 vertex points. You can see the need of doing this in one small example. For example, with this one, you can see there's a more complex object, and here are two polygons, polygon number 1 and polygon number 3. And it's important, if you go on vertex level, when I select this one, I have two vertices, that at the end of the day all these points have to be welded to one vertex. Otherwise you can't disassemble it, that one full surface comes out of this. It will be only always two, and our aim is that actually altogether we optimize our surfaces so we have as little amount of surfaces for our laser cutter as possible. The next thing you might think about, that you want to differentiate our polygons for laser cutting, and I could imagine that already one differentiation would be quite good, that you just can collect all the surfaces from the edges. And the best way of doing this is to differentiate this via material. So I just go into my material editor and I actually use the compact material, and for this surface I want to use two different kind of materials. So I just use one of my material spheres, and I just go into get material. Here we go, here's my material browser, and I create something like a multi-sub object. Okay, here I can set the amount of materials I want to use, and I actually want to use two materials. Okay, this is material 1, this is material 2, and material 1 has an ID number of 1, and material 2 has the ID number of 2, and I go into my first material. And my first material gets something really simple. I just selected from my sample slot here in the lower part. I just get this first one, color white, as an instance, and I just go one level up again, and my second material ID gets the dark one. I just choose this color dark, and also as an instance I go one level up again, and so I already have two different kind of materials. I just thought about that I still can't differentiate the colors so well, so I just go again into my dark gray material, and here I can just choose a different color, for example something like this pink magenta color. That's a much better way to differentiate my colors. So I just take this one and I drag and drop it onto my 3D objects like this, and there's not much happening because I have to change something. I just go into my polygons and select all my polygons, and when I move down in my list, then you can see something like material ID, and they all have already material ID number 1. And if I go into material ID number 2, you can see that our color changes to this pink surface. So what I actually have to do is I go back to material number 1. Obviously you have to select all my polygons. I just enter material number 1, and now everything is gray again. Everything is gray because I added a material which consists of two materials. It's actually a sub-object material. Material number 1 is the gray one, and material number 2 is the purple pink one. Okay, if I want to differentiate this, for example, I just want to color the edges, then I can just select the edges, and there's one thing I just see right now, that my object is slightly moved in my space, transformed, and I don't want this. I just deselect my editable poly, and right mouse click, I go and select and rotate, and I just enter 0 in X, 0 in Y, and 0 in Z direction, and now it already looks much better. Okay, I want to select the edges, all the pieces at my corners, so I just use my window crossing, actually here, my window crossing, and if I go into my window crossing, I just have a smooth touch of my borders, and we can just see if I just also hold my my Alt key, that I can go around my model and just select all my corner pieces. Okay, it's a little bit like this, and if I have chosen all my polygons right now here, I can go down again and just say this one should have material ID 2. Okay, if I deselect this and if I go into my shade mode with F3, then you can see what happened, that I just can differentiate these colors. And if I want to optimize this, I can still see that certain polygons are not necessary to change the colors because they are obviously full, and I can just select them and also change my ID number again. So just remember, if you want to add something to your selection, hold the string key. If you want to take something out of your selection, just use the Alt key. Okay, this is fine, and based on this level, we just want to start with disassembling our 3D pattern, and for this we actually need to have installed one plugin. That's para3D. Without this, you can't do the following steps. Okay, let's start with para3D. I just have my 3D pattern selected. Also, we named it 3D pattern. I just go into create parametric array, and what I want to choose, I want to choose assign controller to have my 3D pattern in para. Let's open it, just take some seconds. I zoom out a little bit with my left mouse and move to my para3D pattern node. Okay, there are very few things I have to do. I just go into my plus symbol and just say plus para node disassemble. Here we go. I open my menu, and here I just see my para entrance, and I just connect it with my wire to my para3D pattern, and just click again, and then you can see that it's already connected. Okay, for laser cutting you have to do very few things. Deselect add thickness, because we don't need a thickness for our laser cutting, and I would always recommend to use merge all polygons with angle less than a threshold, and just reduce it to 1 degree. And this will actually do what we already prepared here. It will, at the end of the day, reduce this one, with this example, to one surface. So it just recalculates all the polygons, and if there's a line in between which has more than 1 degree, it just takes it out, and this is really handy for our disassemble. So merge all polygons with angle less than threshold is fine. Add thickness we don't want. You can just see that there are many really nice joints which you can use in para3D. but this is not important for our laser cutting right now. And actually that's it. I just go into Disassemble and just see that again whether we're talking about my 3D pattern again. I go into Disassemble now. It just takes some seconds and I can just select my members, and what I see is that we have an amount of 559 objects, and these are my objects which came out of my Disassemble. If you really want to build this, that's definitely quite a lot, but for my exercise this is fine. In principle you could add a label system to your pattern. If I just go into create shape, I can just write text next to this. I just zoom out. This max text is a placeholder. Just enter one number inside 1, and I just reduce the size to 0.3 centimeters. Here we go. Really small, but this is actually fine. And if I go into para3D again and just say add label, I can go into pick a text like this one, and then we have a label system. If I go into Disassemble now, it will take a really long time to calculate. By the way, it was not such bad, it was probably 10 or 15 seconds, and then you can see that it already labeled my object, and you can see that 22 is comes to 22, 9 comes to number 9, and really nice and clear label system. But the big question is if this really does anything to you, because I think it makes it for this complex shape not easier, because at the end of the day you have a rhythm in your pattern. It's probably much easier to assemble it without your label system. So I just switch this off again and I go last time into Disassemble now, and then my labels are gone again. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to have this on a surface, best case already the shape of our laser cutter surface, so we can just export this to Autocad and at the end of the day to our laser cutter. Okay, we zoom out a little bit and I just go into create and then into geometry and plane, and actually I just go and use shape. I just go into a rectangle and I draw a rectangle of a width of 45 centimeters and a length of 45 centimeters and a width of 80 centimeters. Okay, and this is my laser surface. I just name this laser cutter, and I just chose the rectangle, so even in my shaded mode I just see a line, and can always differentiate again it with my polygons. Grid I don't need. Okay, and this is my laser cutter surface, and all my little surfaces should go into this frame if it fits. Okay, let's try. I'm again in my para3D setting, and I just choose my Disassemble, and what we do is in transform we just add another mode, and this node is called packing. I just enter the first letters, and I just choose with double click my packing controller out of my library. I just double click and say packing. I zoom out a little bit again, and we want to have actually a rectangle packing. Okay, if I chose rectangle packing, then we can go into pick packing area, which is this one. This is my laser cutter surface, and I just want to reduce the gaps in between a little bit, or we just do it right now so we can just see the first result. Okay, this is my first result, but these are not all my surfaces. If I zoom out a little bit, you can see that there are more objects, and we see a gap of 100 centimeters. That's a little bit too much, so I just reduce it to 10 centimeters. I go again into Disassemble, And this doesn't look bad, but this also doesn't look great, because I think I waste a lot of space in terms of my laser cutter surface. So I can just change my packing algorithm. I can just go into sorted, and this already looks much better. You can just see that all my surfaces are organized by types, and if I press my shaded mode like F3, we can see that this is already quite good solution. Let's go through the other packings, Saigon packing, and also here I just press my update all controllers, and there's a little bit more space, looks a little bit more chaotic, and my last packing algorithm looks like this, and I think this is also not bad. So I just have to make a decision between this one and the second one. And yeah, I actually also really like the last one. I think this is a really good way of packing. Just because we have two different kind of colors, I have the chance to look at this, to look at my polygons a little bit closer, and I'm pretty sure that there's a better way of doing this, but I just don't know it right now. But if you just see that there are some pieces completely individual, you can just select them and just move them besides, so you are really aware of when you cut the whole thing with the laser cutter, that you are aware of that there's one group which is probably a little bit more special, and you can also deal with this in a different way than just finding them by mistake between all the regular objects, and you can see that they are all absolutely the same. Okay, we are now ready for export. We have two 80 by 45 surfaces which we need for laser cutting. I just delete my frame around my surfaces. I just select all my surfaces and I go into 3D Studio Max and export selected. And I just go here into Autocad DVW, and I just give this a name, export pattern. I just say next step, save, and just choose not the newest version. I think 2004 is absolutely fine, and I just go into OK. And the next step, you can open our file in Autocad. Okay, we are now in AutoCAD, and we only use AutoCAD actually for one really small step. We just open our drawing and export pattern, and we can just see that our drawing is not in the top view. We have to change it. We have to go into view and just change it to top view, and this is actually that's it. That's the only thing we do in AutoCAD, because we can't do this in Illustrator. So we go again into AutoCAD, and we just say we save this, and we just call this Illo, like Illustrator, and we save this as an older version, because sometimes or most of the times it doesn't open the newest DWG, and I just go into export pattern Illo, and that's it. Okay, next step, we open Illustrator, and we already used a prepared Illustrator file, and you can download it from internet page Digitales Entwerfen, and this is just a file which we use in Mainz for laser cutting. You can download it as Illustrator Vorlage Laser Cutter, and if you download it on your computer, you can actually open it in Illustrator, and there are already some settings. So I just go into open, and I open this file. It's called Vorlage Laser Illustrator, and this exactly has the dimension of our laser cutter surface. I just go into 50%, and we We scroll in a little bit, and this is our surface, and in this surface we just import our laser cutting shape, and I go into Platzieren and I choose Export Pattern Illo, which I already saved in Autocad. And here's one thing. I definitely don't scale it on my surface. I go into scaling, and we just have to know that Autocad worked in millimeters as 1 unit, and 3D Studio Max in this case we worked in centimeters, so there was already a scaling issue. And this time I can just make it better. I go again into centimeters, and this is wrong. We don't have to enter we have to enter that 1 unit is 1 centimeter. So okay, this is what I just did right now, and this is one of the most important things to do right, otherwise the whole import doesn't work properly. So just think about scanning. 1 unit is 1 centimeter with our settings, and that's it. And here we go, and here we already have our lines. I can just move our lines that it fits on my surface in Illustrator, and just move it a little bit with my cursors, and this already looks quite really well. And very few things we still have to do. I just select all my lines. I have to change the dimensions of my contour, go to a really small dimension like 0.1 point, so really thin. That's the first thing. And it's right, we don't want to have any filling, but in my contour I have to change it. We have 3 settings. The first setting is actually the setting I need for cutting, and just select this. And this has a color. If I deselect it, we can see that everything is red. And with this one, we can already go in printing. And if I would have the right printer installed, and this is actually the laser cutter printer, then I could just choose it and send it to my laser cutter. And when I did this surface, I just stop this right now, I select everything again, and then I just move my second part on my surface like this, and I go again into print, and just say select my laser cutter printing setting, and here we go. And that's all you actually have to do. Thanks for watching.